Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about how to get your attention span back, things that you can do to get your attention span back, and yeah, how I got my attention span back because honestly, if you don't have a good attention span, you're not going to be able to do anything in this world, okay? It's literally your mind. Your mind is the most powerful thing you have. So here are things that I did to get it back. Number one, stop scrolling. Obviously, this is very, very obvious. Everyone's addicted to scrolling. Everyone's New Year's resolution is always stop scrolling, get off my phone. But you can't just go cold turkey. Like I'm not a big believer in that. I think you have to meet yourself where you're at and make small incremental changes. And those small incremental changes are ultimately going to take you further than just like wanting to reinvent your whole entire being and self all at once. So when it comes to stop scrolling, something I did was I only scroll if I go on the treadmill. I made a deal with myself. Jude, you can scroll, but as long as you are on the treadmill. So as long as you walk or you're on the Stairmaster, I allow myself to scroll. Other than that, I don't scroll, okay? I'm meeting myself where I'm at. I'm still allowing myself to scroll because I got so used to it, but I'm installing a positive habit while I'm doing it, and I'm giving myself a limit and a container for how long I'm supposed to do it. And I like the idea of, hey, I'm only allowed to do this when I'm at the gym or I'm walking or I'm outside, whatever it is, because I think I found it super hard to give yourself a limit of like, I'm only going to be on here for 1 hour, or, oh, we all have used the TikTok, like, give me a reminder after 15 minutes, and we all exit out of it. It's just simply too addicting. So giving myself a physical capacity of like, you can only do this while you're on the treadmill, just like, I just did something for me. It's not a mental limit, it's a physical limit. And that's something that I did that really, really worked for me. The second thing that I did, it is another minor incremental change, but I used to consume a lot of content, and I used to more specifically consume a lot of short-term content. Another thing I did was, instead of short form content, I can still consume content, but I would make it long form. So I would watch old YouTubers I used to watch. I would watch documentaries. I would try to watch educational things, because it's like, at least if I'm consuming content, it's like fun to consume content. At least it's going to be something that's not going to be rotting my brain. At least it's something educational. At least it's long form, so I can get my brain to start focusing for long periods of time again. And yeah, at least it's educational. This kind of ties into the other thing I would do is, instead of listening to music all the time, like while I was driving, I started listening to like long form content, okay? Or I would not listen to anything at all, but incremental steps, everyone. Incremental steps, baby steps. So if you are going to be like consuming something, make it educational. Make it something you're going to learn. Make it something that you have to pay attention to, because honestly, like with short form content, the problem is you're not using your brain. You're not using your brain to pick the content that you're watching, and you're not using your brain at all. So I personally was like, you know what? When I'm in the car, I'm going to start listening to long form content, and more specifically, I'm going to start learning a language. So I play language tapes, and you don't have to learn a language, but if I'm going to be in the car and I'm going to be driving and I'm so used to music, which is kind of short form content because it's 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and it's just entertainment, I'm going to make myself just listen to my language learning tapes. The language learning tapes are long form. It's making myself use my brain, and we clearly need that. And it's just a small minor adjustment. Instead of me going in the car and listening to music, I'm going to go in my car and play something. So yeah, make an adjustment. Watch more long form content or just educational content. Anything where you're learning and using your brain is going to help you. Another thing I did was I started meditating, okay? I started meditating in the morning or doing breath work, but just something to kind of train my brain to like not think, okay? And to train my attention span. I really want to get my attention span back. One, because it's obviously really important, but yeah, it's like a muscle that you can train. So I started meditating every day, and I used to time myself. How long can I go without thinking something? How long can I go without thinking a distractive thought? And honestly, when I was doing it recently, after all these years of short form content, it really went down. It went down to like 2 minutes. I'm not even lying. and it would feel like such a long time because of just how short form content ruined my brain. So I started timing it and kind of making it a challenge of like, okay, let me see how long I can like meditate without thinking like a distracting thought. And then something I did kind of do was I started doing breath work in the morning. That's similar to meditation, but it's just with your breath, like changing, like breathing in and out like rapidly for 8 minutes every single day. And that helped to just calm my mind, calm my nervous system, and also train my brain to not, to pay attention more. Another thing that I think is super helpful, I've done it for periods of time, but you need to basically, since your brain is so used to consuming so much, you need to let yourself be bored, and you need to let your brain just rest and not be stimulated. Whether that's like going in the car and like not putting on anything at all, or yeah, just like getting used to the silence and getting used to your brain just resting. Because what people don't realize is that with short form content, like you think you're just rotting and you're just like not doing anything, but your brain is actually working so much, and it's working overtime when it's watching TikTok, because it's like it's literally analyzing like new pieces of information every 3 seconds essentially. So it's frying your brain. So the opposite of frying your brain is letting your brain rest and not think about anything. Let it be bored. Let yourself sit in the car and you're not listening to anything, and you just let yourself be in the present moment and sit in silence. That's going to help heal your brain. And I also think heal your nervous system, because I think it's stressful for your brain to be looking at like 3 bajillion different things at once. So it's a resting period. So let your brain rest. Another thing, this is such a good tip, is if you have a MacBook, do everything off your MacBook. Text off your MacBook, edit photos off your MacBook. Anything that you would use your phone for, use your MacBook. Like try to not use your phone as much as possible, because our phones are literally like designed to keep you on them for as long as possible. So you could have the intention of, I want to go on here to like look up a restaurant to eat, and you can end up on Instagram like so fast, or worse, TikTok. And it's literally because your brain is built for that, because there's notifications everywhere, because there's bright colors everywhere. Like it's just literally catching your eye on so many different things. So it's super easy to get distracted and just get on some other page that was when you didn't even pick up the phone for that specific reason. So when I started using my laptop for everything, my brain was healed in a matter of days, it felt like. Also because the phone is so small, and so I think it makes your brain and your eyes just work overtime. So when I just started using my laptop to text, to find things, to do things, whatever, to go on Google Maps, obviously not while I was driving, but to just do everything off my laptop and give myself a break. Like I would try to not use my phone actively. If I don't have to use my phone, I won't use it. I will write something down on pen and paper. I will use my laptop and I'll write it in Notion or in a Google Doc, but specifically not using my phone. And also because when you use your phone so much, you get addicted to just using your phone, because it's physically addicting. So it's like I've had periods where I'm used to not being on my phone, and a second that I pick up my phone again, it becomes addicting and it becomes a habit to just go on it for one reason or another. So you have to get yourself used to just not using it so much. Yeah. Okay, I kind of touched on this, but you need to use your brain more. In the era of ChatGPT and of TikTok, we're basically outsourcing our brains. Like with ChatGPT and with TikTok, you're literally outsourcing your brain. And I started noticing it. So I was just like, you know what? Like, I want to challenge my brain, do Sudoku puzzles, learn a different language, do math problems. It doesn't matter, but you need to start engaging your brain on a daily basis, because we are literally becoming dumber as a society. Like, everything around us has literally trained to make us dumber. Like, when you think about it, ChatGPT, like when you think about a clock, when you're younger, in school you were taught, oh my god, this is how you read a clock. But now, since we have digital clocks, who knows how to read an actual traditional clock? Probably not that many people. If you didn't grow up doing it, it's because we outsourced it. Like, we don't need to do this. The same thing with Google Maps. Like, do you know the directions to the areas that are near your house? Or are you just plugging into Google Maps for the smallest things because, oh, Google Maps knows how to do this. It's a GPS. We outsource that. So we're doing the same thing with ChatGPT. We're outsourcing our brain power, and that is tied to our focus and it is tied to our brain. So I started just doing educational things. I started doing things to intentionally stimulate my brain and to be an intellectual person, like learning a language. So pick up a book, read more, pick up a Sudoku puzzle, pick up some math problems, pick up anything to just stimulate your brain and use it, because you're constantly consuming, you're not using your brain. Like, you're not using it. I mean, this is kind of more of a tip to kind of get off your phone, but I think that we as humans, like, we are meant to be creating a lot of things. And I know being on your phone, it's so, you get, immediately you're going to get sucked into consuming and not creating. So along with being off your phone, create things with your hands, paint, draw, cook, do whatever that is not in the digital world. So you're more connected to the 3D realm, you're more connected to your body, you're more connected to the present moment, and you're actually creating something, and that's going to make you actually feel good and be filled up with energy, while things like consuming, and specifically consuming content, is just draining you, making you more tired, draining your brain, making you dumber, honestly. So those are just the tips that I did to get back my brain. And honestly, your brain is a muscle and it bounces back super quickly. So I would say still have hope, because even after doing this for like a few weeks, I've noticed a difference. But yeah, you've got this. Good luck. Bye.